Hi,
Hey, how are you, Sean?
I'm good, Jimmy. Thank you.
First off, I want to say one thing I think is always interesting about your career is a balance of these high concept ideas that have a lot of heart. That's hard to do, and a lot of time it falls flat. But with neither the museum, Real Steel, and this Free Guy, how did you find this with Ryan Reynolds? Find this kind of amazing combination of story but visual effects.
Well, in my experience, the scripts rarely come to you with both concept and heart baked in and ready. So, what I learned on Night at the Museum, which obviously I was a much less experienced and newer filmmaker then, is look for the concept, look for that one in a million big idea, because the humanity and the heart, which is a key component of anything I direct, I know how to write that in. I know
Yeah.
how to add that, but I can't fake the absence of a big idea. The big idea is everything. And so, with this, for instance, Ryan and I read the script by Matt Lieberman. It had that big, clean, high concept. It wasn't yet emotional. It wasn't yet everything that we wanted it to be as far as a character's journey and a hero's journey. But it had that big, juicy premise, that hooky idea. And then we spent about 7, 8 months writing, rewriting until the characters and the heart and the themes felt as strong as the hooky, big, high concept.
Wow. Now I love the fact that you take this character that is he's a nothing. He's a blip on the screen. What was it like building him with Ryan and kind of finding those beats that make it so beautiful?
It was a blast, first of all. I mean, Ryan and I stumbled into a real kind of creative love affair and brotherhood now. We've already made another movie together. We have our next three already being developed. So that was fortuitous and just great. But the first thing we did was we talked about, okay, well, who is our guy? Who's guy? And I remember one early thing I said is, I'm like, Ryan, this is your Canadian self. This is like, if Wade Wilson was kind of jaded and battered by life and circumstance, Guy is an innocent. And then we talked about some of the inspirations for us, which is Peter Sellers in Being There, Will Ferrell in Elf, and Tom Hanks in Big. And
Mm.
there's this legacy of the innocent in the midst of a cynical world. And that was this movie. Guy is very much kind of, if Chauncey Gardner, Buddy the Elf, and Josh from Big had like a demon spawn child, it would be Guy in Free Guy.
That makes sense. Oh my
Although I
god.
guess it would be like an angel spawn. So not demon, angel, but like a
Angels.
three-way, a three-way male procreation process.
I mean, it's perfect. It's kind of perfect.
It's like a cinematic baby of those characters.
What was the most difficult thing to really find? Because obviously the game stuff is amazing too. And it's really, this is a refreshing original idea that we haven't seen before. What are you most excited about people seeing that you've kind of created on screen?
I guess two things come to mind. One is I'm excited for people to see a new movie. I'm excited for all of us to have a chance to go and see a movie that is based on nothing but original new ideas, not a sequel, not an adaptation, not IP. And so I think that those are more and more rare, especially at the theatrical marketplace. And then I think it's important. And I feel grateful that I'm given those opportunities to do a big budget new movie,
Yeah.
because I think the possibility of surprise and the unexpected, right? That those are what we want when we go into movie theaters. I'm happy that that's still alive. They're less and less frequent, but it's alive, and I'm trying to be a part of that tradition. But I also hope that people will go in and get what they're expecting, which is a funny, fun, action-packed wild ride. But I hope they'll also be surprised at the heart and the emotion in this movie and the emotionality of its themes, which have nothing to do with video games. They have to do with questioning your place in the world, questioning who you are and what's expected of you, and questioning whether you can maybe become more.
All very universal themes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That, and I feel like that comes a lot. I think you do tend to go with the underdog a lot of times. I always look back at Real Steel and what an amazing character Hugh Jackman created. And I mean, hopefully we get. Are we seeing a sequel to that? Do you think that's a story you'll return to?
You know what? It's amazing and so awesome to Hugh and I. We literally spoke about this yesterday, that we're coming up on 10 years on Real Steel, and still not a week goes by where I don't get asked at least once, and usually more than once, in real life or an interview or on social media, sequel. And literally, I was like, I've gotten so used to answering that question, but now I find myself with Hugh saying, well, should we just do it? Like, we love that movie as much as our fans love that movie. So we'll see about that. But I do know that I love an underdog story. I spent a chunk of the pandemic lockdown showing my youngest of 4 daughters every underdog sports movie ever made. And I mean, we went high and low. We did every Rocky. We did Rudy and Miracle to Mighty Ducks and Karate Kid. So like, we did it right. And I do think that the reason those movies resonate for me and a lot of us, and Guy, by the way, Free Guy is another underdog story. It's just not a sports story, but it's an underdog story. It's about everybody. All of us have felt overlooked, unseen, and underestimated. And all of us feel like, no, man, if you gave me a shot, you would know there's more in me, that I can be more. These are, I'm realizing, lines of dialogue I wrote into Free Guy, and Ryan says to Lil Rel's character, what if I told you you could be more? That life isn't just something that happens to you. And so I think these ideas are really human and universal and resonant. And I like putting them into my movies and very much into this movie, Free Guy.
Yeah, I think listening to you talk about it, I get that passion, and I like that. Makes me excited. I'm like, oh yeah, and that's what I liked about this movie. That's what I like, the fact that Ryan is a relatable guy. He's almost too nice.
Yeah, well, we talked about this early on, as it's a superhero origin story minus the cape, tights, and superpowers. But so I guess that makes it a hero origin story, which is very much what it is. But it's relatable and it's human scaled. And it's about intention, right? It's about intention, awareness, and just questioning whether you need to only be what people expect you to be.
We got a minute. Was there someone you really fought for, really knew we needed that person for that role?
From the minute that Utkarsh and Joe Keery auditioned for their roles as the computer coders, I knew it had to be them. I never faced resistance, so I didn't have to fight for it, but I knew instantly it had to be them. And then when Ryan and Blake came up with this Taika Waititi idea for the villain, Antoine, I was like, wait, the filmmaker? And they're like, trust me, just meet him. So I do a FaceTime with Taika, and it was the weirdest, most unicorn, strange, gorgeous energy I've ever seen. And I'm not low energy, but Taika is a truly singular personality, and he's both strange and charismatic, and he has presence, and I knew that would be a perfect absurdist villain for this movie. And so Taika was that left field idea, courtesy of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, that bore fruit, and every day with Taika on set was an adventure and a fun ride.
Well, dude, congratulations. It's just a lovely, wonderful film.
Thank you so much. Nice chatting.